Good evening. We are in the same place during a stream for the first time. And we are in an Airbnb in Estonia where we have been here to watch Eesti Laul. Welcome everyone to the stream. I can see lots of familiar faces in chat. I see Dilly and Tails and Dylan and Verks and Didrik and lots of others. Thank you for the 100 bits, Alejandro Garnacho 22. I don't know whether you remember me saying I had an audition for The Voice. You didn't get through, but you did with Il Volo. Congratulations. Hey. Well, that's some nice news to start. That means that you are now vocally qualified to participate in the Armenian national final. Congratulations. Overqualified, in fact. We're going to talk about that in a bit, but it won't surprise you to know at all that given where we are, we're going to talk a lot about Estonia tonight. We'll get onto that in a minute. Couple of disclaimers first. Things might be a little more clunky than usual. We're using the setup to you. What you will experience will look broadly similar to what you usually see, but we are doing a lot of things differently on our end just because of the logistics of making this setup portable. But yes, that's the first thing. The second thing is we are in an Airbnb, which means you have an odd assortment of glasses available to you. Now, that means you're going to have to not judge us for the fact that we only have wine glasses to drink out of. So we are...
cheers.
Yeah, cheers. We've got our water in these. So, as I said, we are in Tallinn right now, and I've been here several times, but it is Jay's first time. How are you finding it so far?
This country is really cool. Like you said, it's literally an edgier version of Helsinki, and that is right up my street. It's so much fun here. There's so much to do. The weather is really nice. It's not as cold as Helsinki last year was like -20.
Yeah.
So that was insane, but it's nice here. I like it.
I think that's the thing. Is it's very relaxed. It's very quiet, which is nice because you get like the capital city things that you get in any capital city, but you also get to sort of, things are quiet when you want to go to bed in the evening, which is really nice. We are going to be really busy tonight, but firstly, let's talk about what hasn't happened, which is the video which was meant to go up on Friday. I have some good news about this now. We both watched it a couple of days ago, and I think, to be honest, we mutually decided at that point it wasn't, to be blunt, we didn't feel like it was good enough. We watched it through. We felt it took too long. It felt slow. It felt like we needed to go back and really
condense it.
Yeah. So we've now got most of the way through the process of that. So we're going to release that video tomorrow. The video about this weekend is probably going to come out on Saturday, and then we'll be back in afterwards, just so we don't have to rush a video out in a few short days. So that's what's happening with the video. You're going to see it tomorrow. Don't worry. Thank you so much, IAA, for the subscription there to the top tier as well, which means you now get to be in the thanks at the end of the videos. So that's where the video's gone. Secondly, so much has happened this weekend that we're not going to talk about everything tonight. And I thought we'd quickly tell you what we are and aren't going to do. Because we've been here and because I've been sick all week, it means that we've had to sort of pick up stuff a little faster than we usually would. So tonight we're going to talk about Estonia, we're going to talk about Lithuania, we're going to talk about Armenia, we're going to touch on the semi-final of Melodifestivalen, and we're going to talk about some general reflections of San Remo in Italy. Because next week, the only national final we have, as in the final of a national final, not including heats and semi-finals, is Iceland. That's a perfect opportunity to talk a lot more about San Remo and about the other stuff that's happened this weekend. We'll, of course, talk about Poland's entry as well, and we'll touch on Norway. Just don't worry. If there's something you don't hear about today that you're going to want to hear about, you'll definitely hear about it next week. We'll cover as much as we can. We just want to make sure that we space it out. And given that there's so little happening next week, it means that we'll have a bit more time to talk about it. And we still don't know what the Italian entry is because we don't know if Ollie is going to Eurovision. With that, shall we start on Estonia very quickly? Before we get into it, if you have Amazon Prime, I say this every week, If you have Amazon Prime, you can subscribe to this channel on Twitch for free, support us financially, and have it not cost you a penny. Make sure to do that if you haven't already. 44-dimethyl cyclohexanone is the latest. Did you get that?
That was amazing.
It's the latest to take advantage of that. We also got 100 bits from Harris.Paris. There are plenty of ways to financially support the channel, whether that's on Patreon or Ko-fi, or the donate button on Twitch, or subscribing, or super chats, whatever you want to do, as Porcelain Girl just did as well. If you're able to do that, thank you. If not, that's no problem. You're just as welcome. We love you just as much. General impressions of Eesti Laul. This is our first time here. What did you think of the show?
I feel like it was... I mean, I enjoyed myself, but I feel like I enjoy myself anywhere I go. But the production was really cool. I enjoyed it a lot. The gap in between, like... Because there's like a half an hour gap, right? They were playing some incredible music. I don't know if you were...
Oh no, I was in the room for some of this. So this is the gap between the show and the results, where they go to the news for half an hour. And that's also, and we'll talk about this later, you guys are going to have to wait till the Estonia video to see the full details though. That hamper does not belong to us, but somebody who, maybe they're watching this stream, it's a subscriber who saw me as I was leaving the venue and sort of called out and said hello. I recognized them from Twitter because I'd seen them earlier in the week. So I went over to go and say hi. And they had this massive hamper that they had won in an onstage competition during that half an hour break. That's where that hamper came from. We did go through the contents with them on the spot. I was like, quick, Jay, start filming. Let's talk about this. So you'll get that as a little kind of bonus. So that's where that came from. So you guys will see that. Hi, Gabe. Have you heard that Tommy Cash has commissioned Mpreg furry art of himself in the past? You can do the stream today, Jake. It's all yours. See you later.
Guys, no personas in the national final chat, please. Please. We can't. Not today. Not ever.
Yeah, that's the example of reading the chat before you say it. No, I did read it. I just thought if I had to be afflicted with it, then all of you had to as well. That was purely spiteful. As for my impression, I had a similar impression of the show to you, Jay, in that I thought it was really enjoyable in the room. I think, to be honest, having seen the camera feeds of the performances as well, I think it was more enjoyable in the room than on TV. Because the things that massively affect the TV experience were the things that didn't go right. So those of you who watched yesterday, I'm sure we'll all agree that there were some dodgy camera angles. And we're going to talk about this a lot, especially with the first song in the running order. And we'll go through the lot of them. Anyone who links that the aforementioned image... banned. Guys, why is Tommy's national final performance not on Eurovision's YouTube channel? This stuff happens from now and then. It happened to Vesna a couple of years ago, didn't it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't worry about it.
Ages to put that video up.
Yeah, it'll appear. But yeah, the camera work was a problem. I actually have a lot of insights to this. I have been in touch with artists and their teams. I've been in touch with with backstage crew and personnel as well, people who are working on the technical side of the show. The thing I'll say up front is they all know that it was a problem too. And there are some things, I'm going to talk about my criticisms of it, which I'm sure you guys will share many of them. I'm also going to talk about some of the kind of mitigating factors, in my opinion. Right. Let's have a listen to some of these songs. As per always, we're getting the old Misha Eurovision recap up. Where would we be without it? And we'll start with this. Again, I'm just going to play 3 or 4 seconds of each song, and then we'll get on with it. Okay. Tomorrow Never Comes. Ant. Now, firstly... I'm very excited to say that Ant will be featuring in the video this week. We went and interviewed him and we really appreciate him taking the time to do that. Ant Loki robbed by the running order says JS Granks in Twitch chat. That was the first thing I was going to say. And I think from a sort of production point of view, this song, regardless of whether you like it or not, this song, it makes no sense why it would be first in the running order. Like, I don't know why this is here. It doesn't work as a show opener.
Yeah.
It doesn't suit as a show opener, and everyone knew it. That was the bizarre thing. Immediately after this, you had Stereo Terror, which would have been a brilliant song to start the show with.
Exactly.
You could have even, if you wanted to make a minimal amount of change, you could have just swapped those two around and had this second in it. Even then, it would have been much better. But I think when you combine that with the fact that this was the performance, where it felt like the cameras and the production were the biggest problem, I think you end up with a situation where Ant has every right to feel a little bit hard done by with the results. Now, don't get me wrong, he finished in the top 5. That's still a good finish. But I can't help but think, if this song was done properly by the production team, and if this song performed 9th instead of 1st, it would have been in that super final, or it would have been very, very close.
I think it should have been towards the end. Like, it would have been a great last act, you know?
For him to, with the falling backwards at the end, would have been such a cool way to finish it.
Yeah.
And I just think, I'm very sad because I feel like we're in a situation, and you do see this sometimes. Ant showed up, Ant did his job, but he was let down by the production. Now, there's a few things with this that you guys should know, which is that during rehearsals this week, and I'm talking about the closed rehearsals that happened on Wednesdays and Thursdays, we've heard from people who were in those rehearsals, both, again, on the production team of the show and from some of the groups around the artists as well. The first rehearsal of this song, the production and the camera crews and stuff and the stagehands, they were so all over the place that they had to stop, and Ant had to come back again at the end of the day. He mentions this in our interview with him. He had to come back on Wednesday night at 11:30 p.m. when his first call time was like 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
So he had to wait the entire day and come back again. Then, on the Friday, in the dress rehearsal, the final dress rehearsal, they made this song the fake winner, because they had to do it again because there were still loads of problems. During the running of this song in the final rehearsal, one of the stagehands tripped over midway through. A bit of the stair came off and had to be put back on again. There was... It was so frustrating because I was watching this and I was thinking, this is one of the contenders. And it's just because of no fault of Ant's own, he is being, screwed here. So I think this was the best example of how the production didn't quite come together. And there were some brilliant, really hardworking people on this show. I think they were doing the best they could, but I can't help but feel there was maybe a case of we bit off a little more than we could chew here, and maybe having that semi-final, like they did in previous years, wouldn't be such a bad idea. It's an extra set of rehearsals. Yes, it's extra expense, extra set of rehearsals, extra chance to do everything, and a chance to look at it on TV and go, this isn't working as a performance at the moment, and we can see that on TV. Now we have a chance to look at it again.
Yeah.
I don't know, that was a massive rant, Jay, but so I'll shut up for a minute if you have anything to add about the production. I really feel bad for Ant. It was really, really sad.
It's really unfortunate, especially he's the only artist we've properly spoke to. Mm-hmm. But he's such a lovely guy as well, and it's just so unfortunate. I feel really bad.
Yeah, and I think it's they were genuinely trying their best, but the camera direction and some of these things, I think just it didn't really work out. I honestly, I am surprised how well the show ran like how smoothly it ran on the night, given how many problems there were and how out of sorts things were 24, 48 hours earlier. They improved a lot, and had this show had another set of rehearsals, another day of rehearsals, maybe this wouldn't be something that I wanted to bring up straight away, but it just made such a big impact on especially this song. And again, why was it first in the running order? I think he was great. I thought he sounded great.
Yeah.
And it's a shame. Rant over. Shall we talk about the next song?
Yes.
So, next we had Party Till the End of the World by Stereo Terror. The number one favourite song of Maxi Rainbow, I believe. I have a few thoughts, mostly good ones, but I want to go to you first. What do you think?
This is just a bit of fun. Like, it mixes rock with like that like sound. This wasn't like one of my favorites, but I can see why people really like this. For example, Maxi Rainbow. Yeah, it's a bunch of fun. The machine gun sparks thing was incredible.
That was brilliant.
That caught me so off guard in the rehearsal. And yeah, like it's a very fun song when you're there.
I enjoyed this a lot, and I didn't actually expect to. That said, I do stand by my comments from before the show about it being derivative. I think I'm going to go up a bit based on someone in chat's request. I'm going to go back to full screen of our cameras. There we go. While we're talking about performances, and then we'll snap back just so you guys can see us a bit better. It was a little derivative, Electric Callboy. Go and listen to We Got the Moves by Electric Callboy. And you'll hear this song again. Someone, Dolphin Dane, I think it was in chat, also pointed out that the chorus line kind of sounds like Zemran and Dor. Titan. Besser. My best friend. You know, it's got that, I want to scream, I want to shout.
Yes. Okay, yeah, I see that now.
Don't ask Besser what Anthony Fauci was doing in Tunisia. Thank you for the €2, El Wee. Are you going to talk about Gaia tonight? There's been a few questions already about Poland. Yes, we're going to talk about it tonight, but later, so stick around. Let's move on to the next song. I'll go back to...
#Jay's thirsty.
Oh.
Guys, I am quite thirsty to be fair, but leave it out.
Now we have another of the songs that finished in the top 5, which was Frozen by Janek. So, with this song, not my favourite. I don't mind it, but it's not my favourite. I think the issue for me is just that it's a little generic. And the one sort of designed to be a showstopper moment, which was with the ice, the sort of box breaking, didn't quite pop off. And I think this is again to do with the production. It sort of takes all of those effects and makes them a little more difficult. At the same time, he has a great voice. The disarming thing here, I briefly saw him afterwards outside the green room and said, "Oh, great job tonight." And he replies in like the most quintessential British accent. I didn't realise that he's British Estonian, and he lives in London, but he has the most stereotypical British accent, which is a really nice surprise. Yeah, I don't have much else to say about it. I mean, obviously, I'm happy for him, and he's a great vocalist, but I didn't really get into the song that much.
Yeah, the song doesn't really do it for me, like at all, unfortunately. Morland wrote this song, right?
I think so.
I think.
Do you want me to check that? Let's have a look.
Yeah, check.
Because we thought we saw him, didn't you? You pointed at someone and was like, "That's Morland," and I was like, "Don't be silly. There's absolutely no way that was Morland." And I think it was.
I am 100% sure that was Morland, but it's not his best work, unfortunately. And when we saw the box, or when I saw the box in the rehearsal, I was like, "Oh my god, that's Eric Sardites."
Yeah.
Like.
But Popular executed it better.
Yeah.
Although I seem to remember Popular They kind of ruined it at Eurovision. The effect didn't work really anymore, and it was great in Melfest and looked a bit naff. Anyway, that's another conversation. Let's move on to the next song. So we're going to go back to this. There's going to be a lot of back and forth between these two. It's just because, we don't want to have us sort of constantly being in this little box in the top corner. I will not be popular, says someone. Next song, Tuuli REpina Jack featuring Sahlene. Now, I will say, this is not the kind of thing that I would go to listen to often, even though I do quite like folk music. I actually really enjoyed this. And live, it was a lot of fun. What do you think?
Well, this is really not my style, first of all. But you absolutely loved it.
In the room, it was loads of fun, and I was there like, hey, yo.
This isn't me, but can't like everything. The funny thing about the staging, the fire pit.
Oh God, the fire pit.
So originally they were supposed to just have. I mean, I don't think you see this on the show.
No. This is when they're changing the performance afterwards.
Yeah. So originally, I think they're supposed to have a blanket that puts the fire out. But in the rehearsal, and I didn't check if they had to do it.
They still did it. They still did it in the show, yeah.
They had to use a fire extinguisher to put the fire out instead.
Yeah, because essentially in the last technical rehearsal, they went to do it with the blanket. They put the blanket on, and it didn't work. And then they threw a bucket of water on it, and it also didn't work. So then they just got a... thank you so much, B, for that. I'll come back to that in a moment. Sorry, Loco Boombox made me lose my train of thought. So after that, they just resorted to a rather disappointed-looking stagehand sort of walking over to it and just going... with a carbon dioxide...
fire extinguisher.
Oh, God.
All of these hashtags.
Jay was forced to go to Estonia by Gabe. No, he paid to be here, just like the rest of us did. We pay out of our own pocket for these things.
Yes.
So this is like a very expensive YouTuber studio. I do actually think that this looks like a sort of, hello, I am a YouTuber kind of background. And you guys will actually see this in the Island video as well, because I was so sick this week that I couldn't film the intro of the Island video. For these videos where we go away, the intro is the last thing we film once we've gone away and done it, so we know how to frame the video that's coming up and to set expectations correctly. But yeah, so you'll see this exact spot in that as well. Slightly different angle though. Let's move on to the next song on the list, which was Eyes Don't Lie by Johanna Elysa. So, great singer, really, really great singer, and I thought she sounded especially good on the night. Just the song, not my thing at all. Just doesn't click with me. But what a great singer.
She's incredible. Mm-hmm. She's absolutely incredible. The weakness is the song, though. It doesn't really go anywhere for me. It's not interesting to me. So, yeah.
This is the thing. It's one of the songs that I think it got lost a little. This is one thing with Eesti Laul, which I think it's both a good thing and a bad thing. The floor for Eesti Laul in terms of how good the song, in terms of the quality of the songs, is quite high. Mm-hmm. But I do think that there's, you do get a sort of set of pop songs in there, which are decent, solid pop songs, but don't quite move you. And this was one of those songs. There's a couple of others. I think Tuuli Rand is one of them, which we'll talk about later. But that's how I felt about this, personally. It doesn't move me. I would love to sit and listen to it live again, because she sounds great in the room.
Yes.
And it's really nice to listen to, just like a great vocalist. Absolutely go for it. But it's not a song I'd listen to the studio track of, with respect to Johanna. Next up. Also, just from this one screenshot, by the way, it's kind of giving Life is Music, I Am a Composer.
Also, when you guys were watching the stream, how bad was the quality?
Oh, yeah, we heard this. It was awful.
Yeah. And watching the songs back on the official SD Laul YouTube channel, the quality is so bad.
Not great at all. ESC ZG says, I'm a huge fan. I hope you can go full time soon, and donates $349. New Zealand, thank you so much. Really appreciate your support. That means a lot to us. Everyone says the stream quality sucked. Yes. Oh dear. Yeah, sorry, I've still got a cough, by the way. I've been literally I'm on paracetamol and nasal sprays and all sorts to even keep me upright. You're the one who gave me this illness because you were ill last weekend in Dublin.
Okay.
I got it from you.
No, you didn't. I had something completely different.
Then who did I get it from?
I don't know. Someone at the airport, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, and I think that's maybe something to work on. But sometimes these things can be as simple as, well, they set something wrong, and as a result, everything did work.
Hashtag J patient 0.
Oh.
Hashtag Gabe is contagious.
Yes. And to be honest, probably not anymore. I was much worse earlier in the week. I was actually really worried that we wouldn't be able to do this trip. I was really worried, and thank you, Haiter, for that. I was really worried we wouldn't be able to do the trip because I was so unwell on Wednesday and Thursday. In fact, rather more seriously, and this will probably I won't go too much into this. Obviously, I had to go to a family funeral on Tuesday, and I was so ill on Monday. I was like, God, I'm not going to make it. And then I sort of had a second wind on Tuesday, and I was able to get there. But then I came back, and I think because, there was a lot of travel on that day and stuff, the overexertion completely flattened me again. And I was out of it until Friday. I flew here, still not doing very well. I did do the responsible thing and take a COVID test before I got on a plane. And I didn't have COVID. If I had had COVID, I probably would have rebooked my flight for the Friday or during the day on Saturday. But yeah, anyway, let's move on to one of the positive surprises for me, which was Felin with Solo Anthem. Yep, and you can see that good. So, everyone's favourite high school coming of age credits music, Felin, that's what it gave me. I was thinking of those movies I used to watch when I was a kid. And it was sort of, mid 2000s. It's in a major key, so it's nice and happy and stuff. I want to say, really positively surprised me. I really enjoyed this live.
Yes.
And she's a great singer. And we had her friends sitting in the row in front of us, who were all absolutely going mad for her and had signs with the letters of her name and stuff, which was really nice.
It was really lovely, actually.
But at the same time, I think the criticisms of the song maybe being a little generic and being quite, and obviously now maybe a little dated because we're talking about the mid 2000s, could ring true. What did you feel about this, Jay?
Well, I love this song because it reminds me of my childhood. And it's just fun. I really enjoyed this song. It's on my playlist. Some Anvil
Lagine.
Well, yes.
Do you get the reference?
No.
Avril Lavigne.
Well, yeah.
So you're saying that it's like Avril Lavigne, but it's not.
Yeah.
So it's Anvil Lagine.
Okay.
You'd not have needed that explained to you.
No, but it is very Avril Lavigne.
Yeah.
And I loved her stuff in the past. So
early Avril Lavigne, before things got weird. Do you remember that Kawaii song?
How could I forget? Anyways.
Sorry, I'm getting I'm getting way off track. Continue your thought. My bad.
That was it. I just really like the song.
Yeah, another thing another insight I'll give you about this from the production side was the scaffolding that she was stood on was actually it was too tall for the clearance of the stage entries, so they had to build it on stage. There was one specific bit of scaffolding that every time it was built was slightly out of line, so the production team member would literally just have to kick it until it went in, just kept kicking it repeatedly until it plopped into place. Which was amusing to watch, but yeah, maybe they didn't quite think it through to sort of make it so it could have just folded down more easily. Literally, it was just some scaffolding that they bought from, Estonia Scaffolding Inc. Now, let's move on to the next song. in this running order. We're powering through these. Big old show this was. The last to know, Elysa. So, we've gone from Avril Lavigne in the mid-2000s over to Kelly Clarkson.
That's a great comparison, actually. Yeah.
It was really giving me... It felt like a Kelly Clarkson song. But actually, to be honest, quite a good Kelly Clarkson song. Because I really enjoyed this.
You were belting this song.
I have actually listened to this song so much. I really enjoyed the studio version. It actually won I think it was the Aussie Vision team jury put this first, which is maybe a little overselling it in my opinion. But I think this is a really good song. It's another one of these songs that I do think fits into that category I was talking about of it's like a standard pop song. But I really liked it. I don't know what you thought.
I mean, it's good. I don't really have many thoughts on this song, to be honest. Like, it was performed well.
It felt... I'd love to hear from people in chat about the performance, because it was quite difficult to... In fact, this is the thing for a few of the songs where the production kind of buried the vocal a little bit in the room. So you had some songs where it really stuck out and sounded great, and some where the opposite was true. Sorry, my brain froze for a second. ESC Bangladesh being slightly better behaved today. I love how cliche it is, but it was my winner. Yeah, it is kind of cliche, but I don't think... I like the fact that it's not like it's ashamed of it. It's just, it is the way that it is. Someone said Alika 2.3. Not sure about that. But yeah, why were the backing vocals so loud? It was a particular problem with this song. She was buried under the mix. Maybe there was, but she wasn't the only one. We'll talk about Andrei Zevakin and Karita later. Mm-hmm. They buried Karita in the mix as well. And she didn't need that because she sounded really, really good.
Yeah.
As for another thing, because actually it's something someone asked if I left ESC United. No. I literally, there are interviews which I conducted with artists on ESC United, like in the last 3 weeks. And no, that's still there. Don't worry about that. But yes, I think she was good and I enjoyed it, and they should have let her shine a little more without burying her in the mix, but there we are.
Going back to burying artists' voices in the backing.
Yeah.
It's happening a lot more, especially this year. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of concerning.
I'm slightly worried that this is what the long-term future for live vocal... It's because of people are really pushing the pre-recorded backing vocals thing as far as they can go.
Yeah.
Because in the past we've seen vocals being doubled and so on live on stage. That's one thing. But I'm worried now that we're just going to go down this hill where eventually everyone will sound great live. It'll be because they're just buried in layers and layers and layers of stuff, and it just sounds like it's production and studio only.
Yeah.
And it's really sad. But the thing is the flip side is because they're tighter about it at Eurovision than the national finals, some people then go to Eurovision and sound crap as a result. What would you ban pre-recorded backing vocals?
It's almost like cheating, isn't it? Don't you think?
Sort of.
Because there's some artists that don't use it at all. Like think of Maro, Saudade. Like they did all of that live.
And it sounded perfect.
Exactly. So there is no excuse, in my opinion.
I would restrict it more. I think there's a place for it, especially for certain types of music where there's sort of robotic vocals or whatever. I mean, take Joust in 2017, where they got that year they actually got a dispensation. At that time, it was all live vocals still required. They got a dispensation to use some pre-recorded because they couldn't do the effects live. There's a clear place for it. At the moment, I think people are leaning on it too much. And you have seen in the past examples where the vocal at the actual contest is a lot weaker than what we saw at the national final. The other thing to consider, I would say, is that for delegations that don't have much money, it might be good to give them the opportunity to not have to pay for some backing singers' hotel rooms. So it cuts both ways, is what I'm saying. Let's have a look at what's next. Psycho, William Lee Adams' favourite song from this selection. He gave this 12 points. He was one of the jurors. We'll talk about the jury later. So, I didn't get it. I don't think it's a marker of whether this is good or not. And I can see already there's some people in chat right now. I saw LAO, Pigeon Master, and a few others saying they really love this song. I also see a couple like Militzer who says, I couldn't stand this. Doesn't quite work for me. The staging was kind of cool, and I can see where the audience is. This might usually be something towards the kind of thing that I might like, but it just, for whatever reason, did not click with me. And I usually love shouty, so I'm not sure why that happened. Maybe this is even less your taste than mine.
Well, I enjoyed this. The staging really elevated the song for me. Like, some of it was a bit like, why is he spinning on a chair? But then again, like, I enjoyed it. It was fun, and he had great energy.
Yes, he sold it well. I will say that he did sell it well.
Yeah.
I was surprised how badly it did with the public, because it came like third last or something with the public. Yeah. So there's someone in chat called Tom Without Cash. Thomas Dollar, yes. Thomas Dollar, of course, won this selection, but we'll talk about Mr. Dollar at the end. Yeah, I don't have much else to say about this. I'm going to quickly flick us to the next one, which is... We gasp in unison.
Wow.
I love this woman. This was incredible. Like, I'm sorry. Best vocal of the night. Best vocal of the night. It was ethereal, angelic. It was beautiful. It is, honestly, the only time in the entire show that I had goosebumps was this song. And I am so, so happy that she got the recognition she deserved and finished really highly with both the jury and the public. Like, again, the camera shots were wrong. So I think there were some nice ideas. Shooting it in ultra wide, that was cool. It meant it had to be very precise. Now, what was the one thing this show wasn't? Precise. With cameras.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this was, I think, emerging from the show, this, I think, came out amazingly. She sounded so, so perfect. And she desperately needs to come back again and go to Eurovision someday.
Yes. I'm begging. Please.
It's just, it was so special. I could have listened to that in the room 100 times and not got bored of it. I think also for her, it's going to be such a massive uplift to her career, because she's already, she won Best New Artist at the Estonian Music Awards not too long ago. It's the perfect time to follow it up. She did a great album with the producer Boy Pepperoni last year. This is exactly the right thing now to follow it up. It's going to give her such a boost domestically. And, she was competing with Tommy Cash and Andrei Zevakin, who are both huge, huge names in Estonia. And to sort of stand on that level, absolutely deserved. I thought it was brilliant. And I was just so happy for her. I obviously have a small amount of bias because her label is run by a couple of the guys from Vice Munich. But I just thought it was brilliant. And I'm really glad to see that everyone else enjoyed it too, because I was worried it would be an acquired taste. You talk about it now. I've ranted enough. You need to...
Well, I think this song is very accessible.
Even for the genre of music?
Yes. I mean, I showed this song to my sister, and she really liked it. And she's not really into this music.
Okay.
She really liked this song. With this song, I love it so much, and this got like, I mean, as you said, she was up against like big names. So third was probably the highest she could have gotten. I think the staging, although it was simplistic, it felt really thought out and it really fit the vibe of the song. The laser show was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I love the lasers.
It was so cool. And I told this to you yesterday. Like, this song just reminds me of like, I mean, the song's called Kulm, which means cold. But this just reminds me of like the cold and like the Northern Lights. Like, the vibe was just so, she's great.
Yeah, I think I could talk about how great we think I could talk about how great I think An-Marlen is, probably to no end. And yeah, I do think we'll see her back. I think she is on my, and I think we'll get to this. I have a wish list of a couple of artists. Someone says the lyrics are morbid. Yes, actually, you should go and read the lyrics. They're really sad. It's a really sad song. But at the same time, I found it interesting how you have the kind of coldness of the song is called Cold. You have the way in which the song actually becomes really warm by the time you get to the last minute, and it sort of explodes out in the way it does. It's such the sort of the dissonance between, you know, what she's singing and how warm it is. Yeah, I just think it was great. Anyway, that's An-Marlen. We're going to go to the next one, which is this guy. Even though I know we'll lose our way. Play, because that's the only way.
It's definitely a song.
This goes back to the sort of songs where I'm like, okay, well, I enjoyed listening to it live. When but we go into that place, like I was saying with some of the other songs, where it's like, it's fine, you know? But that's...
Like, I wouldn't be listening to this on Spotify.
No. This is totally not our style.
No.
I don't really have anything else to say about that. Let's go to the next one. Are you running the Eurovision News channel on Instagram? No. I love Melody Festivalen. You know what the irony of this is, right? With Anna Sahlene and this song. Love Me Low would have qualified from that Melfest heat last night. In fact, it probably would have won the heat.
Oh, yeah.
This was just, it just screams Melody Festivalen. Everything about this is Melody Festivalen in the 2010s.
Tails says, "Oh my god, the Squid Game girl."
And she talked about that in her postcard.
It was all she talked about.
Yeah. She was like, she just spent loads of time talking about Squid Game. But yes, this song would have qualified in Melfest. Someone said Linda Banksy. Yeah. Oh dear. One thing I will say that was really, really nice and was a bit of a kind of thing that made me go, oh, I'm so glad I'm here. As you guys know, if you've watched the tier list video, I actually ranked Runaway by Anna Sahlene pretty high. And I really enjoy that song. So I was overjoyed when I then heard her sing it at the after party.
Yes.
And I was so happy. It's so cool when you see a Eurovision song that you never thought you'd have the opportunity to see the artist perform live, when you then randomly, unexpectedly get to see it live. So I'm delighted Anna Sahlene was there. I just think this song was a bit generic, and that's how it ended up in the mid-table.
Yeah.
Great singer, though.
Yeah. Great singer, but the song, it's generic.
Yeah. Let's keep on going. Gosh, it was a big old show, wasn't it? It was 16 songs? So many of them.
We're almost 45 minutes in.
Tuuli Rand, Rem. I think let's just talk about it quickly and move on. Again, it came last with the public and the juries. with respect to Tuuli, I think it was the weakest song in the show. And the live was a little wiggly. A little.
Wiggly.
It wasn't terrible. It wasn't.
It doesn't stand out.
No. And I think the song's incoherent.
This would have been my second least favourite.
Okay.
So
Who was your least favourite?
the folk song. I'm so sorry.
Oh.
But it's really just not me.
I really like the folk song.
I know you do.
Right.
Oh.
This one is going to really hurt. Everyone, I want everyone to take a deep breath because this is going to be really sad. This is going to be really, really sad because this hurt me a lot and I felt really heartbroken. Minimal Wind. In the studio, one of my favorites. You guys will see when you see the Estonia video at the weekend. In the first part of the video, I talk about 5 songs that, and I won't tell you the rest of them. I'm sure you can guess most of them. I talked about 5 songs that I thought would end up being the top 5 in this selection, to sort of introduce people to the video. This was one of the songs I talked about, and I thought it had a shot at winning the jury. We've seen before, because they were in this competition before, that they can bring the goods, and they can win the jury. That was literally what they did last time. I think this was staged totally wrong. Maxi is apparently trying to break into our Airbnb. Maxi, we have posted bodyguards outside, and we've told them if they see you, then they have a license to shoot to kill, so you may want to stay away. We are defending ourselves from you.
For legal reasons, that was a joke.
It wasn't a joke. No, Maxi, in all seriousness, sending you love. I hope your head is doing slightly better than mine today, because I had a little bit of a hangover. Anyway, back to our sadness. We are being very depressed about Minimal Wind because the staging didn't work. I have no idea why the softest and most warm song out of the entire selection was staged in a way that had more movement. And I tweeted this in the afternoon and said, I don't understand why the singer was moving around like that, going into the audience, moving through the audience, which, by the way, the way that the room was set up, just kind of walked through an empty space. Yeah. And then coming back onto the stage, there was one point where there was a camera cut so tight that she had to sprint to make it to her next cue. And it's well, there's no wonder that you got out of breath. No wonder that you didn't sound great. I don't know, Jay, but I'm curious to hear what you think. But for me, it was nowhere near what I was hoping for. And I was really, really sad about it, that it didn't work out.
To put it bluntly, it was a mess. And I feel bad because they seem like great people and they have so much potential, but this was way too ambitious, staging-wise. Mm-hmm.
I just think it was wrong. It was just not right. Someone says, when are we talking about Tommy Cash? We're getting there. We're on song 11 and you song 15, so probably give us a few minutes. It's just really sad. I don't know why they did it like this. And it was so self-inflicted, and that's why they ended up finishing, I think it was 6th or 7th.
Mm-hmm. Or 9th, wasn't it?
Was it 9th?
Who was 9th? I think it was... I actually can't remember. Someone fact-checked that for us.
It was 9th, yes. Someone said 9th. Yeah, there you go. I mean, this was the big miss. But yeah, anyway. Moving on to the next song, which I think a lot of fears turned out to be unfounded about how this would sound live. Someone that I heard Yeah Fire from a Prime subscription. Thank you for that subscription. Bad seamstress. Perfect timing. I think there was a lot of arguments about whether he'd be able to sing live because he's not known for singing live. But you know what? This performance was so good and so much fun. It wasn't perfect. It was rough around the edges. But the way they were going to make it work was by leaning into that, and they did. And so they gave us chaos. That intro was really, really nicely done with the sort of the passing the microphone from hand to hand and flicking up to the camera.
That was really cool.
Such a cool effect. It's a shame that while the staging was good, his judgment about who to take photos with has in the past been somewhat lacking, as several people are commenting. But yeah, I thought it was really, really good. And to be honest, I did wonder whether it would be in with a chance when I saw it. He's improved a lot since he was last in Eesti Laul. And I think with a real shout out, though, has to go to Carita, who was giving her first live performance ever. Like,
very impressive.
That's insane. And she was really good. Yeah, it was really funny. There was a meme going around on Twitter that I saw where it was, that heartbreaking, the worst person that you know just made a great point. Somebody who didn't like Andrei Zevakin made that meme, but it said, heartbreaking, the worst person had a great performance. I think that's going to get a lot of use in various contexts this season. I think regarding the photo with Andrew Tate, I think it's a pretty terrible mistake to take a photo with that guy. It was a controversy when it happened. It was a controversy in Estonia. He did put out a statement at the time. I believe he apologized. I do think if he had won, he would have needed to address it again to an English-speaking audience. Gabe, it's almost been an hour. We're not even done with Eesti Laul. Well, look, we were there. We have loads to say. We'll talk about the others too. Not all of them are going to be in this in depth. And we're not going to cover everything tonight. Let's move on to, this guy. You may be familiar with his work. So, here is our winner. Espresso Macchiato by Tommy Cash. You want to start?
Well, do you want to start?
It's a catchy song. I see why people enjoy it. It does have broad appeal, clearly, across a range of different demographics, at least here in Estonia, because people of all ages were voting for this. Everyone in chat either loves it or hates it. I'm seeing some people say this is the worst thing they've ever heard, and some people say, oh, it's great, it's really fun. Perfect example, 2 messages back to back. I hate it, I love it. Yeah. I don't hate it. I find it still underwhelming based on what I had hoped for Tommy Cash coming into this. I think there is an attitude problem, which I think a lot of people have latched onto, in terms of respect for the competition, because I think this was a really strong show, and there was no need to turn it up to 11 in the way he did in that aspect of the of his personality. We talk about this a bit more in the video. As for the live performance, absolutely no surprise it won. And when you've got 83% of the televote going for one song, you have to respect the fact that it won. Yeah. Like, that's an extraordinary margin that beats even the most optimistic predictions for Tommy. And it really shows that no one else ever had a chance. That said, I think we need to have a look at jury criteria, because regardless of how much you like the song, and I think there's some people find the live performance really charming and really fun. Others compared, I think it was a tweet I saw somewhere that compared his dancing to salad fingers. So you really do have the full spectrum there. Or like, those sort of wind noodle things you get outside.
Oh yeah, the ones that like.
Yeah, sort of do this. It had a bit of that to it. Yeah, I don't understand how this wins the jury because the vocal was bad.
That was so surprising when he was getting 12s.
Yeah, I mean, if you like the song, and you like the staging, then getting some points is still, an understandable thing. But winning the jury, I made no sense. It would have gone to the super final basically no matter what. It could have come like 5th or 6th or 7th with the jury and still gone to the super final. But yeah, I will say I don't get it at this stage. The song's fine, it's catchy, it does stick in my head. But there's some real big game talking going on now. I think the ball is in Tommy Cash's court to back up that talking a big game with something show-stopping at Eurovision, because we haven't seen that as of yet.
Yeah.
Is it top 10 at Eurovision?
If he brings what he brought to Eesti Laul,
No chance.
there is no way.
But if he did his best possible version of himself and of the song, and with a really good staging, yes, it could get to the top 10. It's going to qualify for the final comfortably, but I think we're in the teens right now in terms of finishing result. Yeah, I have a bit of a sour taste about this. At the same time, I respect, and having spoken to a lot of Estonians last night, they are really excited about this, a lot of Estonians, and he's such a big star. Estonia doesn't have very many genuinely big, like really well-known sort of artists with broad international appeal in the way that Tommy Cash has. Because of that, this is a really special moment for them, and I don't mean to try and take the shine off of that. I just think that there are things that need to change about the performance. There are things that need to change about the way in which this participation is being conducted at the moment. But we will see. I feel that was sufficiently diplomatic. Do you have anything else? Any other thoughts?
Not really. You pretty much said everything I wanted to say.
Yeah. Espresso maybe Chiato. Yeah.
Oh my god.
But there is this kind of I don't know. People are talking about the fact it was taken down from the Eurovision YouTube channel. I don't know the exact reason, but there's nothing to it. From what I understand, I asked some questions today to try and figure that out, and nobody seems to think it's a big deal. I wouldn't worry about it. Right. Last song. Someone says he's giving Michael Ben David vibes. Okay, it's not that bad. It's way too early it's way too early in the process for it to be for that. Whoo. Jeez. You people, you know what? Live chat on YouTube and Twitch is a different beast. You people can be mean. I hope you know that. You people can be mean, and that is mean. That's,
Funny though.
Yeah. Someone's asking about Lithuania's national final. That's the next thing we're talking about. Let's just quickly talk about Tansenbill by Martinotta. I just think it's a fun song. So, last song. I don't have much to say about this, and then we can move on. It's fun. I liked it. She's a great singer. That's all. What do you think?
It was a lot better on stage. Mm-hmm. Like, the stage performance, it really brought the energy that this song needs.
I think it grew, and that was nice. I think in general, there was a good number of songs here that did grow. Like I said, I hope the lessons are learned for production next year. In their defense, we did go to a new venue this year. Sorry, my throat is still just destroyed from the bashing it's got this week. Thank you so much, Grybo, for the 5 gifted subs. We really appreciate that. Someone said before, what's the best way to support if we want to help you get to full time? And the answer is, I would say, by either subscribing on Twitch or becoming a member on YouTube or joining up on the Patreon, because it's that month by month thing that we have to sort of in terms of in order to do content creation full time, you have to sort of build a certain level of certainty around the income. That's why people increasingly turn to things like Twitch subscriptions and YouTube memberships and Patreon because ad revenue changes so much month to month. You can't predict what you're going to get the next month. You could get the same number of views and 1/3 of the ad revenue. Great system that they've designed there. Now, let's talk about Lithuania. We're going to skip through and not talk about every song just because we are actually kind of struggling for time. There's a ton of stuff still to talk about. So, I'm going to skip, this just Take Me on a Date song. Don't need to talk about that. It was just not very interesting. After Storm by Goya. I don't know how many of these you've listened to, Jay, because we've been very busy today. Wanted it to go somewhere, it didn't.
Oh, really? It sounded very promising.
Yeah, it's a nice touch. It's a nice sound, but it didn't go anywhere as far as I wanted to. And guys, I'm seeing a lot of Tavo in chat. There's been a lot of discussion about my tweet last night about that song. Maybe I shouldn't tweet at 4:00 in the morning, but I still stand by it, and I'm going to talk about why in a minute. This song is interesting. So this song was one of the two that was wildcarded to the final. Somebody sent me a message earlier on Twitter about Liepa, pointing out to me that there was a massive operation, because she's quite well known in Lithuania, a massive operation to get people to vote for her. Loads of big Instagram accounts with a total of more than 2 million Instagram followers promoting this song. Who for a total of 3,000 votes it got at the end of the day. This was a bit bizarre because it felt like they kind of changed the rules to get this into the final. They wildcarded this through along with Black Biceps. I think was the name of the song, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Because it was big names, and they wanted them in the final for the prestige. Which on one hand, I'm like, fine, get that back. I appreciate it. But yeah, I didn't, it rubbed me up the wrong way. Thank you, Darkstorm, by the way, for the Prime sub. I just don't think it's that great a song. I think it's quite generic for me. What do you think?
I haven't heard it.
Okay, well in that case, I'll take this. Then someone said influencers don't do shit, and for the most part, you're right. Those kinds of campaigns are extremely ineffective because people don't vote based on how influencers tell them to vote. Yeah, but the readmission to the final was odd, and I'm not sure why they did that. Probably because Liepa kicked up a stink as well after getting knocked out in the semi-final. But it's like, you agreed. You agreed to participate. I don't know what you expected. Oh well. 1 hour, 12 minutes in, and we didn't hear the word nothing burger yet. Well, let me oblige you, because I like Gabrassi. I think he's a talented vocalist. I didn't like this song. Didn't really go anywhere. And I appreciate him because he's commented on videos before. He's watched the channel. And I do hope he keeps trying this because I think he eventually would be a really great Eurovision entry. This song was not the one. And yeah, again, I just wanted to touch on that. We're going to get on to the other ones because I want to get to sort of the big hitters here, which is, Black Biceps and, of course, Katarsis. I just want to say quickly, Freedom by An-Marlen was the song that knocked out Liepa. That and Katarsis, of course. And it's just a bit dull. Running Out of Time by Anyanya. I like the slightly different style. We don't see this often in Lithuania. But this note... this note... someone in chat says sugar.
Oh, no.
Someone, even Mina says, I got the power. Remember Toad? I got the power.
We love that.
This just completely took it out of me. Like, I jumped when I heard this note. Like, I actively went, whoo! It was just a little much. Yeah. And your dad is watching.
Hi, Dad.
Says AJ's dad calling here in Ipswich. Welcome to the stream. Everyone type in chat, say, hi, Jay's dad.
I'm still alive.
Right, let's get to what's coming next. I believe... Oh, this girlie. I quite liked her, actually. You know what? Every national final should have at least one, like, slightly indie girl with a guitar singing a ballad. Elio says, I love lesbians. I'm not qualified to make that judge, judge on that specific point of her interests. But I can say I quite like this song. It's obviously nothing new. It's a bit of a nothing burger, but...
Oh,
you know.
Well,
I like the jacket.
I like the glasses.
I like those kinds of earrings as well. I bought my girlfriend some not dissimilar earrings for Christmas. Anyway, let's move on to right.
Okay.
Right. Someone just said they're unsubscribing because I'm straight. I'm sorry to let you down. Katarsis, Tavo Akis. I've been causing some drama on social media the last 24 hours with my opinion about this song. Do I think it's likely to win the Eurovision Song Contest? Obviously not, but you can't rule this song out. It's one of the strongest we've had so far. It's an extremely strong example of this genre. It's performed perfectly. His vocal is exceptional. It's great. I think it's great. And I feel like people sort of said, when I said, it's a dark horse to win, people took it and ran with it. It's a small chance, but you can't rule it out at the moment. Think about the songs that realistically could win the Eurovision Song Contest at the moment. How many songs are there where you look at them and immediately go, that could win? Finland.
That's it.
That's the end of the list.
That's literally it.
That's the end of the list. This is the kind of music, it's super accessible. People love this kind of stuff. You know, turn on the radio. Like, people saying Zierum could win. Listen, I really like Zierum. I hope it does great. I hope it comes in the top 10. It's not winning. Red Sebastian can't win either. Yeah. This is a sleeper for me that is going to surprise people in May. And I'm quite happy to take the L on this one if I'm completely wrong about it. But I'm not going to walk back what I said last night. I'm not going to walk back because someone says this is your yearly AR/Ulvaham take.
Oh, they kind of clocked you there.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I was far from alone about Ulvaham.
Yeah, true.
Everyone was saying about Ulvaham and everyone was saying about it, about AR. Everyone thought those would do better than they did. And everyone universally agrees, well, actually, some people agree that they were robbed. Some people don't. Jay, how deluded do you think I'm being?
Okay, so it's very hard to predict.
Don't be shy.
It's very hard to predict how this song is gonna go. I've heard people saying it's gonna get the Ulvaham treatment. I've heard people say it's gonna win, and I haven't heard anyone be like, oh, this is gonna get like maybe like mid-table. Like it's either they're gonna win or they're gonna get last. But I think it's comfortably gonna get top 10. I'm not sure it's going to win.
I agree it's going to be in the top 10. I agree it's going to be in the top 10. I just think I feel it has a higher ceiling than most people do at the moment. Someone's just shouted, talk about MGP! We're going to do that next, okay? Relax, take a deep breath. Get yourself a glass of wine. It's a Sunday night, you know. Calm. No, I'm gonna stick with this one. The other thing I want to say, people saying, oh, this is this year's Aya being the Latvian entry from 2023 that finished 11th in the semi-final. No, it isn't. I'm sorry. Go and listen to Aya again if you think that this is and Aya are going to do the same thing.
Cut to like a couple months later. And it gets
And
11.
no, but you got to admit, like, I feel like people are forgetting. Like, Aya was a song in a 5/4 time signature. Like, it was an unusual song presented in a totally different way. It just doesn't fit. I just saw, by the way, Marta K just followed. If that's Marta, the Marta I think it is, Marta, we love you. And everyone should go and listen to her band, which is really good. If it's not that Marta, then forget everything I just said. Yeah, the other thing is that Latvia doesn't have, that Lithuania does have, is diaspora vote. And it was the right Marta. I'm very glad. Welcome, Marta. Lithuania has a diaspora vote, which will help it. It's going to go to the final. It's going to get high in mid-table / in the top 10. Marta, post your band name in chat so everyone can have it, please. Yeah. It might be that I'm completely wrong about this. And I make a huge... I take a huge number of L's over the course of a season with the predictions I make.
You sure do.
But, you know, it wouldn't be interesting, right, if I just sat here and said nothing. If I sat here and just went, oh, this could do okay, I'd be like those, you know, those really... Now, of course, this is not all reactors, but you know those reactors who just sit there and stare at the thing for 3 minutes, and every time something happens, they just go, wow. And then at the end of the song, they go, oh, that was cool. And it's like, that's it.
Me on Eurovision Hub.
No, not you, Jay. This is, yeah, like, I don't understand. I seriously don't understand why people do that. Like, okay, there are some really entertaining reactors on Eurovision YouTube. Although, to be honest, I mostly watch the people who I know in person, just because I'm like, oh, I want to know what my friends think. But some of them could do better. No, Dolphin Dane, I will not be naming them. I don't want to start any fights. I start enough as it is. Let's move on to the next song. Petunia. Someone in chat said they like Petunia. I like Petunia. These are really cool vibes. I love it. Somebody posted the one of the creators I was thinking of, but it actually got it got caught by the filters. Anyway, yeah. Petunia I thought was really cool. I think this vibe is awesome. Like, and I think it's nice how there's the sort of nod to traditional elements in here as well. I thought it was really cool. I was sad to see it didn't do better.
What place did it get?
It did quite badly, I think. Someone we can't move things around as easily. I can't open a new tab as easily as usual. So if someone could say where this came in the final, that would be helpful. 8th, said Apple. And someone said 7th. 7th, 8th. So it was pretty low down.
Damn.
It was pretty low down. 8th.
I quite liked that snippet.
We'll skip the boring ballad to... Oh, this guy came second. Draber. Okay, so, Draber, have you heard this song all the way through, or do you want me to?
You can take this one.
Okay.
I haven't listened to this.
I thought it was really cool. I thought it was staged in an interesting way. I find him really interesting. I do feel it was maybe a little disjointed. You know, we do get some of these songs each year where it's like just kind of lurching around a little bit. That's how I felt about this. And as a result, I just... Okay, I've started a fight. You know that song I skipped? I've started a fight in the comments as a result. I liked it. I'm really glad it was in the top 3 because it's really interesting. And I love stuff that's sort of sonically interesting and goes in interesting directions with this. But I just find it a little difficult to get into. I think it would have struggled at Eurovision because people wouldn't have felt it to be accessible enough. Draber to me is like how Telemovés sounds like to people who don't like Telemovés. Yeah, I can see that. I feel like if you hated this song, you would really, really, really hate the song.
I need to listen to this song.
It's fun. I think you'll quite enjoy it, but I think it's something you kind of enjoy as an art piece and as something like as a piece of performance art, rather than a song you're going to go back and listen to, right?
So it's like avant-garde kind of.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think avant-garde is fair enough. Although I am really, really proud of myself, because one thing I have managed to do was to do that entire section without at any point saying the words "roop looking ass." But yeah, this came second. It was obviously a long, long, long way behind Katarsis, which won in the super final by something like
6,000
yes,
votes.
like 9,000 votes to 3,000. It was no contest.
World's boldest man.
The
That's
world's
Don's.
boldest man. That is Don's. Yeah, Don's literally wants that title himself. You can't take that from him.
Oh, it's this song.
Finally, we have Eurovision.LT's updated version of "We Are the Winners." Okay. Everyone in chat, now, I want you to tell me whether I'm being unfair by comparing this to Kaboom by VB Gang. By going for the "hey guys, look how fun we are" vote. Now, I prefer this to Kaboom by VB Gang.
You hate that song.
Yeah, to be fair, I prefer most things to Kaboom by VB Gang. But I think, wow, that is, this is the most active chat has been the entire stream. That was controversial. That was really controversial saying that. I do think Tova Logan says this is way more effortless than VB Gang. It's definitely less deliberate, less contrived. But it's name something that you like less than VB Gang. You really want to see me blow up the chat? Something I like less than Kaboom by VB Gang? Chains on You by Athena Manukian.
Ooh.
We'll talk more about Armenia after this.
Wait, really?
Yes. I'll talk about it in a minute.
Well...
Spoiler alert, I liked her song a lot more this year, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Right, now that I've successfully alienated the entire audience, this is more fun, and I listened to it before in preparation for this stream. We had to cram a lot of stuff for this, and Jay has been editing the Ireland video today, so it has been like the most hectic of weekends. Someone to get the pitchforks. Sorry about that, everyone. I'm not sorry, but there we go. I have some other terrible takes, which I'm going to slowly sneak out over the next few weeks. Do you hate Ariana Grande? No! I love Ariana Grande. Anyway, my voice is going. I thought this was fun and a little silly.
Chainsaw you.
Indeed. If it was, it felt like they were trying a little too much to be funny, but at the same time, it still kind of worked. So my attitude, rather than with Kaboom, where I was like, you're trying to be funny and it's falling flat and I hate it, my attitude was more like, okay, I get that you're trying really hard to be silly here, but you've won me over a little bit. Like, I smiled.
This song annoys me. I really don't like this song.
After all of my diplomacy... No, go on.
Yeah, no, this song, hell no. I'm sorry, guys. Like, I like silly songs sometimes, but this one just really irks me.
Is this your Kaboom?
Yes, but I like Kaboom more.
I shouldn't have let you come on this. I should have just... I'm going to kick you off. This is your last stream ever.
No.
Right. That's that one done. We're going to speed on. Someone says, will the heats from Germany be discussed? I can tell you now, no. We're not going to get to it tonight. We don't have the time. Let's move on to a national final that originally I was going to wait until next week. But having watched it tonight, I think we have to talk about it, which was Armenia. So, Any thoughts?
No. No thoughts, head empty. Like...
This guy was the first song. This first song was the winner. Oh, this bit was quite fun because he's not singing in this bit. Cleverly chosen snippet, I must say. Well, okay, that left out some of the best bits. But what I'm going to do is, Jay, I'm going to treat you to something that we see in the videos every now and then.
Yes.
I do a dramatic reading of the lyrics.
Okay.
Now, I really want to share with you how beautiful the message behind this song is.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really, really gorgeous.
Yeah.
So let me read it to you. I got my bad shades on. Mm-hmm. Jet black. Am in my zone. I'm sick of the news. I'm sick of the views. I'm sick of the lies they've told.
Oh, wow.
I'm a survivor.
Okay, Beyonce.
Stay aliver.
What the hell? Okay, keep going.
Let me see if there's any other highlights. So I'm a survivor, stay alive. Do or die in my prime. I'm a fighter. I'm a survivor. Won't be tied up. Break from the pain. Take your place. I'll remind you.
Okay, Jimmy Joker Thornfell.
It's actually funny to say that this song was written by Thomas G. Song.
Of course. Of course.
Oh, God, I got a cough.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, my God.
Oh. Guys, I can't do this anymore.
Oh, my word. This won. This won the show. This came first. They thought this one was the best. Now, admittedly, the entire show is full of awful songs and awful lyrics. People are pointing out "The Queen Nation," which was the song of Athena Manukian. We'll come back to in a minute.
I heard a snippet of that song.
Yeah. My opinion will be interesting based off what I just said about Chains on You, but we'll come back to it. Well, this will be on the Eurovision stage. The guy can't really sing. But I guess the instrumental's kind of fun. 7 songwriters put that together. Yeah,
Withdraw.
7.
What do you mean 7?
7 songwriters. It took 7 people to come up with "I'm a survivor, stay aliver."
That's embarrassing.
And also, Jet Black, am in my zone. I'm not like...
I'm in my zone.
I'm not actually mispronouncing that. Like, look, am in my zone.
I'm going to make that my Instagram bio.
I'm in my zone.
Me too, honestly.
It's literally, this is the new thing is known. This is the new thing is known. It's, yeah.
Things should not have been known.
Yeah, in this case, they should not have been. I mean, this is not, I really don't think this is going to qualify. I think this one is maybe not dead on arrival, but maybe damp twitching corpse on arrival. Like, there's some life in there, just not very much. Urgently needs a defibrillator, or 3. I just think it's not a good, it's not well put together, in my opinion. What do you think? From the brief snippet you've heard, as well as so you get a vibe of the song and the delightful lyrics I've just told you. I feel like it's a bit mean asking you this when you don't really...
well, yeah, but I mean, when it takes 7 songwriters to come up with whatever the hell that was, I think this is very much an uphill battle.
Yeah.
Instruments are cool.
Yeah, I think the instrumental is quite fun. Next up, we have Falling by Zevakin. This one got a grand total of how many points from the public? 0! This got 0 from the public, which is impressive because the public handed out like a lot of points. Impressive in some way or another. The lyrics are slightly less terrible, but it's a really mid-rock song. The public was on a fixed scale, someone says, that's interesting because the fixed scale, for whatever reason, goes 0, 0, 7, 14, 21, 28. Oh, it's multiples of 7. Right, and then it goes up 14 twice at the end. That's odd.
That's very weird.
Yeah. But that explains it. Thank you, whoever said that in chat. Just go back to internal selections. Yeah, I agree.
This song, it sounds like it should have been in the Moldovan final.
Yeah. It was really funny. The top comment under this national final on YouTube was someone saying, Moldova must feel a lot better now. Because I think can we talk about how awful the production was in this show? Like,
it looks terrible.
It looks terrible. The sound was abysmal. Like, the sound was just absolutely abysmal. Yeah. This is the next song. Can I just say, my compliments go to this backing singer on her excellent fake bob. But other than the fake bob, I like nothing else.
It's giving Monica Lou.
Someone said, "Ooh, find the note, girls." Yeah, Lee. Yeah, that's my that's my interpretation of this too. It's a really awful song and it's performed terribly.
And what is that song title?
Tiny Little Boo.
A minuscule boo.
A soup song of boo. The littlest boo. And that came, let's see how that did. It scored 96 points, putting it in 5th place. Why? So this was in the top 50%. This was the top 50% of the selection.
Guys, I'm quitting.
Honestly. The thing that frustrates me, right, is some of my favourite entries ever are from Armenia. Yes. Like, one of the songs that I really loved way back when I started watching Eurovision, Jan Jan, made such an impression on me. And then I think about Love Wave, where I think especially the semi-final performance of Love Wave was stunning. If she'd sung like that in the jury show and in the final that year, she could have...
Don't say when.
It could have done like really well. It wouldn't have won, but it would have done really well. At the time, I thought it could have won, but I was wrong. Someone says, this gives 12-year-old girl wearing her older sister's clothes to try and get with a 17-year-old boy in a 2006 movie. That's oddly specific, but I kind of... Yeah. You're kind of right. You're kind of right. Rejected K-pop song, getting that too. Opinions on Boom Boom. Boom Boom is in Boom Boom Chaka Chaka. It's horrible. It's iconic, but it's like, disaster Bob. Moving forward to losing appropriately named. Let's see what this man, Matt Black of Armenia, has to offer us.
Wait.
Did you quite like the sound of that?
Wait. I hear something, guys.
So he came 6th, just behind Anahit. And to be honest, this song, I don't have much bad to say about it. I just don't have much good to say about it either, because I just didn't find it very interesting. It's just a bit dull. I don't know what you thought. This is honestly, for this national final, this is getting away well. Someone has said, wow, I love Gritu. I kind of see it with the staging. Although, I cannot be convinced otherwise that this national final was not made out of spite for annoying fans that wanted Depi Yevrostil. It was so bad. It's almost like they went, you want a national final? Oh, we'll give you a national final then. Disaster. The big note was bad. Yep. But that was a universal truth in this show. Oh, my sweet lord. Okay, this... Jay, this came 2nd.
Go internal.
There's a small number of people out there who... That won the jury vote, by the way. Who thought... There's a small number of people... I saw someone on Twitter be like, this is this year's cha-cha-cha.
People say anything online nowadays.
ESC Discord went wild for this. Listen, I love the ESC Discord. It's such an amazing resource. And sometimes it's great. But I'm sorry... I listened to this after I saw some hype about it. I listened to it and I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever heard. Like, I'm sorry. I really, really, really hate this song. I just think it's crap. I think it's just total crap. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. What do you think? From that short little snippet of Simon is his name.
His name is Simon.
Yep, Simon.
Explains a lot. I'm joking. But this is... I don't like it.
I don't want to be alone when I get paid. Paid spelled P-A-Y-E-D for some reason. I don't care if you break my bed frame. You should tell me if you really want to get laid, get laid, get laid. I don't think you have enough in you to beat me. I will chew you up. No, I don't think you have enough in you to bet me.
Okay.
I will chew you up if you try to set me. I don't really care. I need you to let me. I just want to tell you about the way you got away. To make a guy to want to treat you so good. You don't want to know about the way I got away. To make a girl to want to get me so smooth. I just want to have this fight with you. You just want to have this fight with me. I will get my way, then I better get away. And away I'm gonna get away is say, I papare bye.
And that won the jury.
Yeah.
Let's move on. No. Okay.
Oh, Mr. Eurovision. Dirty. What the?
Okay. No, we have to listen to that again. No. Okay. Let's analyze this.
Apparently, this girl lives in Moscow, participated in a show on the most Russian propaganda channel ever. Someone says diva down. Wait, this is the number one on the ESC Discord global top? Okay.
So the vocal could do a little bit of work. Just gets worse. Someone said the studio was amazing.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, but like we're not. The thing about I can't get over that.
Okay, this is actually a genuine point. Someone says the thing about Flora. I watched her other performance videos. She was great, so the clip is odd. Given how badly produced this national final is, it wouldn't surprise me if just no one could hear themselves.
I mean, you'd think.
Clearly. So I don't want to be. I think we've said enough. It feels cruel to go on with that. So let's talk about. Hey man, how you doing, Gavorg? Let's have a listen.
Can't I have my flight? Don't have mommies for your own delight.
So this next one, Gavorg Harachunyan, his song was Hey Man. Very low rating on Eurovision World and very low rating in my head as well. Are you still giggling about?
Someone said, is he on helium or what?
Oh, This is, you know what? You guys, I say this as if we haven't been really mean about this national final as well. You guys are mean. It is a deeply unserious national final. This song was just a bit of a nothing burger. I just couldn't really get into it. I don't have much else to say about it, to be honest. It's just a bit dull. Dare to Dream. We should ban, like, this is... I'm going to read the lyrics of this song, because I feel like they're going to be the most insufferable thing ever. Okay. Life sometimes may throw you on a wrong path, and it feels like all you want is giving up. But remember, your main reason is everything you've done. Remember, you've never been alone.
Inspirational.
Turn around. Stay for once. Pick up your mind. Turn around. Don't make a sound. Listen to your heart.
Wow.
Do you feel inspired?
Yes.
I feel inspired. Someone said, "Oh, I've been alone, all right." Oh, poor. Well, you know, there are apps for that kind of thing. What else is going on in here? Jay, we need your full reaction to the whole performance of Prayer. Maybe that can be bonus content on the Discord or something. We'll listen to it. Suddenly Life Has Meaning. Yeah. Just, if you're going to write lyrics like this, I think it's been done so often. This is the kind of thing that would get you a direct to final in Melody Festival this year. So, moving on to Wild. Anna Hit and Gasoya.
But I'm too high, won't touch the ground. Dropping in what? I got the lid, won't take me.
What's going on? What's actually going on? I kind of wish I watched this now. The guy's just singing, the girl's like...
She's like, yay! Someone said Dumb Tech on a budget.
Oh.
And it's like Dumb Tech if you know where people like translate through 20 different languages and then back to English?
Yeah.
Or like when you reprocess a photo like 50 times over. Mm-hmm. The Trump song? Am I missing something here?
Oh,
Someone give me the context.
I think there was drama around these two.
Oh, it sounded like they were singing Trump. Right. Okay, let me... Yeah, it does actually sound like drama with some of the artists. There was that one... we were talking about the one who was a little too fond of Russia. Mm-hmm. Again, that came, by the way, this came fourth, Jay. Yeah, this came fourth out of 12. Yeah. Let's move on to Will You Marry Me?
Pick me to stay alone. I promise you will never be lonely.
I really wish I watched this show. What's going on? He looks familiar though.
He's not. He just. You've just seen like there's a for some reason. If you look across Europe at different national finals, there's a certain subset of middle-aged men who hit their midlife crisis, and what they decide to do is enter a Eurovision national final. Usually Moldova.
Yeah.
Like, you know those old
fair.
dudes, Nordica.
The one with the guitar solo.
Yeah, that's exactly the one. I mean, it's. I look at that. That's quite the image, isn't it?
At least there was a concept.
I mean, yeah, like these guys had a concept.
Did they?
In a sense.
The concept being.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Next. Milena Mirajanyan, Romantic Net.
Go, give us nothing. I love how, like,
the artist is just sat there.
The Bob girls.
Yeah.
Love that.
This one actually does quite well out of our roast of Depi Yevratesel.
That's how you say it?
The E is a yeah, but other than that, I'm not 100% sure. Okay. But this, it's just dull. Go Girl, give us less than nothing, as Lee said in chat. Exactly that. Right. Finally,
What's up with these, the names of these songs, by the way? Romantic Net?
I think this is the thing. This is something that often happens with artists and songwriters who English isn't their first language. Like you see it in Moldova a lot. Same thing, Right. I previously said that one thing I hated more than VB Gang Kaboom was Chains on You by Athena Manukian. I think Chains on You by Athena Manukian is awful on every possible and conceivable level. I hate it more than anything possibly ever in Eurovision, with the exception of like one or two other songs. That said, Da Queen Nation by Athena Manukian was the best song in this show by a very considerable margin, and they should have sent this to Eurovision. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the queeniest of them all?
You.
Aw, thank you. I found this really fun. And in this field, to be honest, it cleared everyone out easily. That said, I didn't expect it to win because there's this one person on my timeline who lives, who's from Armenia. They're from Artsakh, actually. Who tweeted like a week ago being like, all of you need to shut up. There's no chance that Athena is winning. No one here is talking about her. And after that, I kind of removed the possibility of it winning from my brain. Because it was somebody who's usually right when it comes to Armenia stuff. And it didn't, which was sad, but it did come second, I believe. Came third behind Parg and Simon. So this was beaten by I Papare Bye.
So unserious.
Yeah. It was fun, and they should have internally selected her because this would have had half a chance at the final. As it is now, I think Armenia is dead in the semis. And that's a shame. This is fun, and it's a real pity. It's a real pity. Because she can dance. She has improved over the years as well. Like, I think she's a much better singer than she was in 2021 or, back when she did a talent show here in the, not here in the UK, back home in the UK. So overall, on that showing, Jay, what do you think of the Armenian national selection? Do you think they should bring it back next year?
Yes, bring it back. I take everything I said back. This national final is amazing. I need to watch this back. It's the most unserious thing ever. And I feel like I will have an amazing time watching it.
Yeah. Honestly, I was having, I needed to get into the zone today, and this actually really did get me in the zone. Read the lyrics to Jay. Gabe, please, I beg you. Of Da Queen Nation. Okay.
Right, yeah.
Here are the lyrics. Can't you see I'm not afraid to live? I've been risking all my chances. Challenges have made me who I am. You can try and stop me. You can try and stop me. Never mind. Don't you know I have a dream? They've been calling me a queen. Diamonds shining on me, that's a reference. And I'm back to slay, so scream hey. Here we go. Put some dedication, motivation, no negotiation. Da Queenation, I'm your guarantee, your embassy. You should turn it into beast mode. I'm sorry. Put some dedication, motivation, no negotiation, Da Queenation. Masterpiece.
Beast mode?
Beast mode.
Okay. Yeah, this should have won.
Oh my god. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the queeniest of them all? Who's got style and who's got grace? Who's got the courage to take my place?
How many songwriters?
Oh, just two. Athena Manukian and DJ Paco.
Okay. You know what? Slay. This should have won.
Put some dedication. I'm your guarantee, your embassy. What does that mean? What does it mean, I am your embassy?
Get your passport renewed.
Athena Manukian will renew my passport. Oh dear. Well, she won't need her passport anytime soon because she's not going to be travelling anywhere in May.
Cries.
Actually, she will because I'm pretty sure she doesn't live in Armenia, and I think she doesn't speak. I saw someone say she doesn't speak Armenian.
Where does she live?
Well, she was on a British talent show, so maybe...
If she lives in London, that's so random to me.
She speaks English and Greek. Oh, maybe she lives in Greece.
Oh, okay.
Right. She lives in Dakui Nation. Yes, she does. Right. Moving on. We are going to... someone's been asking in chat about San Remo. We don't know the Italian Eurovision entry yet. So I think what we're going to do in the interest of time, and I know originally I did say we were going to talk about San Remo tonight in my tweets. I think we're going to need to leave it till next week. Give it the time that it deserves because we've got 15 minutes left. We need to talk about Poland and we need to talk about Norway. So I think...
In 15 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, well, we'll go past 10 a little bit to get everything in. But let's talk about Poland and Norway very quickly. I just want to highlight one thing about San Remo this year, and I'm going to get the results here. I must demonstrate this because, and some of you may know where I'm about to go with this, because in my first ever video, I said the words, Italy, send a woman. Any woman. I don't mind which one, just pick any woman. We thought that maybe they'd got the idea. So, the top of San Remo. You guys can't see it, but it's okay, I'm going to read to you. First place, it's a man. Second place, it's a man. Third place, that's a man. Fourth place is a man. Fifth place is a man. Sixth place is a woman. Well done. That's one. Seventh place is... Oh, the fucking page just reloaded. Seventh place is a man. Eighth place is a man. Ninth place is a man. And 10th place is a man. And a woman. Okay, they're joint. We'll give them 0.5 each. Italy. Care to explain? Care to explain? Even the San Remo audience thought this was messed up, by the way, because when they announced that Georgia wasn't in the super final, the booing was crazy.
They were pissed.
They were so pissed. I also found it really interesting how a couple of artists seemed to like, because the creative direction has changed this year, and they seem to be like, oh, you know, it's so much better now that Amadeus is gone. My music wouldn't have been welcome when he was here. Like, I'm sorry, get over it. People are talking about, you know, so the only show that manages to be camp and sexist at the same time. Yeah, exactly. Elodie had a go at a journalist, yes, and said, you know, that San Remo rewards male mediocrity first. That's true. That is absolutely true. Jay, have you had much time to watch San Remo this year? It's one of my things to do, really get into this week because I've been sick this week. I just haven't had the chance to really dig in the way I want to. Have you had a chance to look at anything? Any impressions?
I've actually watched almost every single performance. I watched the first night with my dad, actually.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, and he very much enjoyed it. I think he watched everything, and I gave up at like song 20. So good on him. But so okay, my favorite from San Remo was Gaia.
Okay.
Cause like it was such a good song, right? And then I looked into the lyrics, and I kind of understand why it didn't do very well.
The lyrics in English For example, I like music, being naked and no one judging. I love street food, the hair of the sea, even hurting myself. How stupid.
I mean, I'm still gonna listen to the song because like it's a great bop, but I think San Remo they're very, I don't know how to word it. They look a lot more into the song, like the juries and the press. Like they don't just want like a bop to win. They really look at like the lyrics and, you know.
And that's why when we got a bop last year, like, you know, you look at the lyrics of La Noia, it's like, it's a really well put together song. I respect it. I think I respect it a lot more now than I did previously. I remember in my first video putting San Remo in C tier, and to be blunt, I do think part of that was just I was just being like contrarian for the sake of being contrarian, which is a trait I find very irritating in other people. So I look back at that now and think, oh, I should have just had a bit of live and let live about it. It's very specific, and there is clearly a problem, a woman problem here. As in, the show has a problem with women, which really needs to be addressed. At the same time, let's dig into it more next week. We talked about Gaia. We said the word Gaia. I'm using this as a very, very flimsy transition to Gaia by Justyna Steczkowska. I have known about Justyna Steczkowska for several years, obviously in a Eurovision context, but also I've really, there's some of her songs like Terra and To, co jest Cydane, I really, really love. So I'm delighted she's back in Eurovision. This performance, I'm just going to play a little clip. Sugar. So, let's talk about Poland. Let's talk about Gaia. We're not going to talk about the other songs in the national final just because of time constraints, but I do just want to shout out Lusterka, which came second, where the artist has been blacklisted by the Belarusian government because they sung in the Podlasian dialect, and the Belarusians didn't like that very much. Gaia, I think it's going to be fine at the contest. They're going to sort it out. But this national final and this performance, total mess. It's so chaotic. So chaotic. I don't know what's going on. What do you think?
The staging was just... It was chaos, but I feel like that fits her.
Mm-hmm. She loves this one dance move where she sort of goes like this. Like... It's very odd, and like she did it last year as well. Like it's clearly a thing, and I'm very impressed that she can still sing while doing that, especially given she's like in her mid-50s.
Impressive.
But like, maybe don't. Someone maybe needs to just have a little word and be like, Justyna, honey, try something else. The whole choreo is just her gym routine. Yeah, someone said maybe it's a cultural thing. Listen, I'm not going to get into that. After we got into the whole, is Melody's hair helicopter a cultural symbol or not discourse?
Yeah.
We're never going back there. Someone says Justyna reheated her own nachos. Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't like one of the lines from her...
From the song last year?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like a direct reference. I think in a way that's not going to clash with any rules or anything.
Yeah, it's only like a couple words.
Yeah. But yeah, this needs some work. It needs some work, and I'm sure they'll get there. But like, her performance on the night was a bit weird. Obviously, she won by such a margin that it was never going to be in any doubt. I do want to say though, isn't it nice to have a Polish national final? And I know any Poles watching now will agree with this. Isn't it great that to have a national final that's not rigged? Because this is the first. That alone made it so much better. Someone says, thank you so much, Asalia, for the £4.99. Says, need a video explaining Gabe's ability to pronounce all the Eastern, Finnish, and Estonian titles. I mean, I speak German and Russian, and I study Finnish and Luxembourgish and Dutch. So you sort of start to pick up a lot of phonemes, and you just got to stick the right phonemes in the right places, and it all eventually, comes together. I'm still not over Jan, but I may forgive Polish national finals now. I was gutted for Gladiator 2, and obviously when people talk about the Polish national finals being unfair, that is the big example they give, where they clearly tried to stop Jan, and they did so successfully. At the same time, he was so nervous. I think in some ways the best thing for his career was to not go to Eurovision at that time. Dude will pronounce the most complicated Finnish names, but is still incapable of saying F-I-K.
Gabe, come on.
F-I-K.
It's thick.
F-I-K.
It's thick.
I'm going to keep saying F-I-K. Ochman was the last not rigged winner. Yes. So we'll see what they do with all of the, fancy effects on screen. I'm sure we'll get something very silly. How do you think this is going to do at Eurovision?
I mean, it's camp, so maybe I'll say, I don't know, top 20.
Yeah.
Maybe top 15.
Yeah. I was going to say, 12th, 13th, 14th.
Okay. I was going to say that, but I didn't realize if that was going to sound like crazy.
Yeah. I think Justyna Steczkowska is such a cultural icon in Poland and among the Polish diaspora. She's going to get real support from, so places where the Polish diaspora are going to have the most influence. Iceland, the UK and Ireland, and maybe France, Germany. You're going to get a lot of support from those countries. So I think it's going to do pretty well. Top 5, someone says top 5. I think not at the moment. It could, with an upgrade, get to top 10. And vocally, when she's on the money, she is incredible. So you could see a really big jury score. Let's see what we get to. Finally, we're going to go through Norwegian MGP, and I am going to get the trusty Monsieur Eurovision recap. I'm looking for Norway MGP 2025 recap. Okay, well, I'm setting that up, and then... Okay, I am going to do this. I'm going to that one. Right. So, we were, of course, at Eesti Laul, so we haven't seen this show live. What was your general impression of the quality of songs this year, based on what you've seen, studio versions, and if you've seen any of the lives?
Awful.
Tell us what you really think.
It's such a downgrade from previous years, and I was very disappointed with the songs this year.
Yeah, I will say I don't really know what happened because, I mean, to be blunt, Emmy, had she been in MGP, which we know she originally tried to get into, she would have probably won this show. Mm-hmm. I think the winner is decent, but I thought the show in general was really, really poor. First year where Danish MGP beats Norwegian in ages. Dolphin Dane, you could be correct. I'm going to reserve judgment until the live versions. Someone says, Gabe, I'm so disappointed. Polish national final deserves a recap. You know what? Let's maybe look back at it next week. I really wanted to talk about the entry tonight, just because of time constraints and needing to talk about Norway as well. We're a little tight. But I'll tell you what, I'll make it up to you next week. There's only one national final, right? Only one song being selected in Iceland. So we'll talk about it next week. That's my promise to you. We'll talk about Lusterka. We'll talk about a few of the other songs. And that gives us a bit more time as well. Because we want to try and cover everything. Now, I mostly agree with you about the song quality. The thing I found really bizarre, now, for those of you who don't know, a lot of the songs for Melody Grand Prix come from a few of the Nordic songwriting camps. Mm-hmm. The big one is called REpina. Now, Like a Party was one of the songs that came out of REpina this year. Here's what I don't get. I know a lot of people who go to REpina, And because of that, I heard dozens and dozens of demos after REpina, some of which were great. Some of them ended up in the show. The Game is a perfect example of that. Now, I have thoughts about that song, which we'll get onto in a minute, but it was among the stronger demos. Rumours are Elsie Bay got rejected from MGP, or a song written by her was rejected. I don't think she was rejected directly, but she was absolutely at these songwriting camps, because that's how songwriters like Elsie Bay make their money. They go to these songwriting camps, they build links, they arrange separate songwriting sessions. We had loads of these demos, and they weren't up to scratch. Some of them really were, like, the final songs are not up to scratch compared to a lot of the demos. So I was really confused when we got the list of songs. I think there are some really good artists who deserved to look in this year and didn't get it. And there are some songs that I was convinced would end up on that list and didn't. I'm going to have to keep it cryptic because these are all demos. They're not released. It would be disrespectful to name artists. It would be disrespectful to hint at what they're producing. But there are some great, great people writing, some great people singing, wanting to get into this show. And it was a shame that we didn't get that this year, really. Now, let's have a little listen to the songs. I believe you can see that on screen. Torna Damli, Last Song. Unfortunately, it was the first. Dull.
Yeah, it's giving me absolutely nothing. It's like watching paint dry.
Yeah. This one was, fine.
Like, it's a song.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think Torna Damli, she was quite well known. This was a comeback as well because she had a much bigger career before in Norway. But yeah, as Virkat says in chat, and Caitlin at the same time, nothing burger. Without the bun, that's harsh, so it's just air. Sondre, Vagabond. Let's have a little listen to this. Same issue. I think it's a nothing burger.
It's okay. For a competition, you should not be sending a song like this. It's too, like, low-key. Mm-hmm. But as something you'd listen to, like, on Spotify, like, I like this. And he had a similar problem last time he tried for MGP as well. Mm-hmm. The song was just, like, too, like, mellow. But, like, I still listen to that song, and it's good to listen to. Mm. But he needs to bring a competitive song.
Yeah. Someone said this is H&M store music.
Damn.
I could kind of see this being played in a store. Right, next. Sulale, Nora Jabri. There was an article in the British press about this song because this is one of the songs. There's a British songwriter called Emma Gale who is in, I think, 3 different national finals this year. Mm-hmm. And the BBC here in the UK wrote an article about her. The thing is, the picture they took made her look, it was a bit like a picture which had been taken for a true crime drama. So it's on Twitter somewhere. I should have, let me see if I can find it. Give me a moment. I think she enjoyed it so much, she posted it on Instagram. So let me see if I can find it for you guys. Give me a moment. I'll go full screen so that you guys can see it as well. Let's see. Gale, there we are. There we go. Right. Here's the meme, courtesy of a certain Paulius of Root Looking Ass fame. I don't know if you can see that. Come on, focus there. Oh, it nearly focused. It's not focusing. There we go. It says, the text says, she looks like being shortlisted for Eurovision is tearing her life apart.
Okay, yeah. Oh, that's great.
Rest assured, she seems absolutely delighted that her songs have done so well, and well done to her. Let's have a little listen to Sulale. So, Sulale, what do you think, Jay?
It's okay, but it's like I've heard it before. Mm-hmm. Like the progression and yeah.
It's my favorite of the 3 so far. Someone's saying so much auto-tune in that clip. That's been true for every song so far. So Sulale tried to reheat AS Nachos, but the microwave blew up. That's quite funny. I quite liked the sort of the Sulale. That is an interesting little hook. I just maybe would have liked to see it get a little more developed. This song felt like it could have done with a couple more iterations. That's one thing I think that could have helped it. Unfortunately, it didn't get that. At the same time, in my opinion, still one of the better ones, and certainly better than the first two. Next up, we have Wigwam. Oh, yes. Wigwam, great. Wigwam, someone already said it. Wigwam were the GOAT of this selection, and they deserve to win. I thought Wigwam were excellent. I especially enjoyed when they were like, in their post-performance interview, they were like, we need to make rock and roll gay again. Like, honestly, this was great. They were robbed by the jury. They did much better with the public. My favourite. What do you think?
This is not my style of music. No, I'm sorry. It's not for me.
Oh,
It's not for me.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great.
Well, okay.
I just thought it was fun. It was an interesting direction that they had Wigwam and Bobby Socks, but I'll talk more about that in a minute. Next, Parasite by LLL. That, of course, was something that they took on Saturday night. I find the sort of Margaret Berger, Feed You My Love kind of instrumental style to be pretty cool. I loved Margaret Berger. Someone says this sounds a bit like Deanne Voord. Yeah, there's something to that. These kinds of like constructed girl and boy bands, like take Next in Line from Ireland last year. I think the time has been and gone for them. And because this is Ben Adams' project, I think, while Ben Adams has done a much better job with this than Louis Walsh did with Next in Line, as an example, I just think it's the kind of framework that doesn't really function anymore. I'm not a big fan of it, really, as a package. What do you think?
I mean, it's just... No.
I feel like you're just sort of looking at this selection with a sort of vague disgust in general. Like, everything you're just like, ugh.
I don't really enjoy anything apart from Sondre's song, which is an unpopular opinion.
Yeah. Well, we should look on the bright side with this. If this girlie here, if she runs out of toilet paper, she can just rip a bit off of the bottom of the dress.
Jesus Christ.
So it's always important to be prepared. Moving on, we have the winner. You know I'm a fighter.
I think this was the best song, and I am glad it won. It's still a bit of a nothing burger, though.
I quite like the song, and I think he's a good performance. He's a good performer. Very impressive for his age, as people have pointed out. I think they staged this well. Even though I'm not sure about the Two Towers is maybe just a little bit too much of a cursed image if you spent too much time on the internet. But I immediately thought of that when I'm just gonna go with it on this one. The first thing I thought of when I saw that staging was 9/11. Maybe not everyone else went there, but I saw that and my brain immediately went, so maybe that's something that they should work on. I seem to be alone in this because everyone else is like, what the fuck? But yeah, so they hit the fucking Pentagon. Yeah, I don't like that. So change that, maybe make them a slightly different shape or something. Someone said that never crossed my mind, but I was born after it.
Me too.
I wasn't.
Oh.
Turn on the orb, they hit the spires. Yeah, the medieval theming is fun. I like a lot of it. And the staging, other than the towers, the shit posting in the chat right now is crazy. So the staging is an inside job.
Jay, how old are you? I am 22.
I think it was the best performed song, and it was the best studio version, and it deserved to win.
Yeah. The staging was quite cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. This song, we are now going to play Run to the Hills by Clara Hamstrom.
Keep up the pace.
Stay in the race.
Whoa. Wow. Who wrote this?
Someone just atted me and said, you lost it.
Oh my god, no. No.
Run to the Queen of the Kings. You know what the thing is that this song, Run to the Hills, was written by Julie Orgard. This song sounds exactly like Run to the Hills, and it was written by Julie Orgard. I don't think I'm a bit confused as to how this ended up existing, because surely, given that you had all of the same people in the studio, they would have written it and then immediately gone.
Wait a minute. Wait, I feel like we've done this before.
We've been here twice. Like, it's Queen of the Kings, and it's Run to the Hills. Yeah, and it also has two of the Queen of the Kings writers. So
okay, there is no excuse at that point.
Yeah. It could have been written by Thomas Jesus' son. Oh, it's Thomas Jesus. Right, okay. Okay. It's been a long evening. We've been on for more than 2 hours. And we're nearly done. If Sweden sends Mons, I'm returning my Swedish citizenship. Thomas G. Suss.
Like a suspended cord?
Someone says, Gabe, have you and Roy fallen out? No. Where did you get that idea from?
Random.
It's really strange. I think it's the same person who was asking about ESC United earlier. Bear in mind, guys, like last year, Matt was quite unwell. That's why there was last stuff on ESC United. And, he came back and talked about it. And, he has real, we all have real lives to deal with as well, right? Anyway, last song, Hot as Hell in Paradise. So Gabe, you didn't speak with Roy on social since Noosh. I commented on his YouTube video yesterday. Go look at his reaction to Kant. You'll find me in the description. Please stop trying to make up some kind of mystery beef between me and Roy. It's very weird. We have Bobby Socks next as well. I forgot about Bobby Socks. That's really bad.
Well,
that maybe says something about their song. Anyway, I want to point out something that I really, really dislike. Why did someone... You know what? I'm not reading that. I'm not reading that. You're going to see the comment and know which... I'm not reading that.
okay.
I'm not reading that. Anyway, am I beefing with Gotham? Always. The auto-tune felt way, way more pronounced in all of these songs than it did last year. It feels like they've gone a little further along it in a bad way, and I really don't like it. They should wind it back.
Yes.
Wait, Tom Yam just said Gabe's ex. Wait, are you... Oh, no, you're talking about Roy. I thought you were talking about... Right. Okay, I'm not entertaining this anymore. Be quiet, vet images. Anyway, everyone should know I'm only beefing with Jay, and I'm always beefing with Jay.
We're always beefing. I actually secretly hate Gabe.
I just pay him so he sticks around.
Yeah.
Now, let's move on to our final song, which is Bobby Socks, Legends of the Contest. ABBA B-side. It's just an ABBA B-side.
I mean, good for them.
It's an ABBA B-side. That's all I really have to say about it. I did beef with Jan Bors. That's true. I'm now beefing with Bobby Socks. No, I'm not beefing with Bobby Socks. They did want ABBA's Nachos so bad. However, yeah, I think this was fun to have them back, but I think it's the right thing that they didn't win.
Yeah.
It would have been really, really odd if it had won. And yeah, it was someone says it wasn't there to compete. It was the first interval. It was fun. Fair enough. Fair enough. Right. I think that's the last song of MGP. So, Kyle Alessandro, what are your thoughts? Do you think he's qualifying? Do you think he's, going to be in trouble?
Well,
Where does this song end up?
I haven't heard his voice without auto-tune before, so I have no idea if he's like actually a capable singer live. But the song, I think it was the most interesting of the bunch, and it definitely has the most chance out of all of the songs. But I do think. Do you think they're qualifying?
Let's have a little look at the. I'm gonna get us over to Eurovision World, and I'll put that on screen. Love how the tabs there were. Perfect. The tabs there. The next tab was stuff from the Island video, which shows how behind schedule we are. So, you guys should be able to see all of this. You can tell we're in Estonia because we're getting Estonian ads as well. How lovely. We're going to go to Basel 2025. I'm going to close this ad for an Estonian phone. And we're going to have a little look down and find the semi-finals. Where are you hiding them?
What are you doing?
I'm trying to find the semi-finals. Semi-1. There we go. Okay. So, we'll zoom in a little bit. So you guys should be able to see this now. So, in semi-1 at the minute, every single song that has been announced so far, except for Slovenia, is finishing ahead of this in the semi-final.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a problem.
They're kind of cooked.
And Theo, Evan, and Claude will probably finish ahead as well. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Cooked. They're cooked because Sweden's in there as well. It's over. It's over. It's actually Jova for Norway. It's Alessandrova.
Sorry, Kyle.
Yeah.
It's what?
Alessandrova.
Guys, send hate to Gabe. It's the worst thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I was feeling quite optimistic before, but this is actually...
It's not looking good.
Maybe we'll be surprised. Maybe he'll be great in the actual show.
We hope and pray. Or do we? If Croatia sends poison cake, they're going to qualify, probably.
Wait, did you say... Someone said Jan Boers called Gabe out in his Malta reaction video.
Ooh.
He did it again? Is he not bored? Like, this is like the second or third time. I've like never interacted with this man. I've never spoken to him. I've never met him in real life.
Sounds like you have a fan.
Indeed. Thank you, Jan, for the free promo. I'm sure you're watching since you seem to be extremely invested in what I do. Yeah. How's being head of the Czech delegation going? Oh, wait. Oops. Anyway, he is Jan bored. Well, that's funny. Yeah, no, I think Norway's going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
No, we'll end in the same way. And this might be tough this weekend because obviously we haven't had a chance to listen to everything.
And my phone is the camera.
And this phone is the camera.
Mine.
So I think, today we're going to have to just look at my top and see where we've gotten to. Mm-hmm. I will open that up now. And then, Jay, we will do additional focus on yours next week.
Yeah.
Can the person who keeps, every time I'm mentioning any person, there's someone in chat who immediately says my name and that person's name, followed by the words gay yowie. Please stop doing that. Right, let's have a look at this. So, my top as it stands, 1 second, I just got to put Armenia in, down the bottom. I'm going to speed through from the bottom upwards, right? So, bear in mind, I like most of these songs. There's only 3 songs that I really, really don't like at the moment. Slovenia, bottom, then Armenia, then Spain. I don't like any of them. From this point on, it's songs I like. Next up, Laura Thorne, Luxembourg. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I nothing it.
That's my brother's favorite song so far,
Oh,
and
bless
I'm
him.
just like, how?
He is like 12.
Yeah. Well, is he?
I bet he loves Tommy Cash.
I don't think he knows.
You should show him Tommy Cash. I'm 100% certain he'll love Tommy Cash. Speaking of Tommy Cash, well, I have Belgium next because, like I said last week, I just don't get it. I respect the musicianship. It's just not for me. Tommy Cash after that. That's my 13th place. Again, just not my kind of thing. And maybe my experience here has jaded me a little. So not a big fan of Tommy Cash. Kyle Alessandro comes in at 12th. And at the moment, if it's the entry, Ollie from Italy will be 11th. Now on to my top 10. Montenegro. Although I'm starting to get worried about the qualification hopes for Nina Žižić, I still really like that song. In 9th place, we have Emmy. It's just super catchy. Like a Party. In 8th, we have Tautomatus. Fallen a little bit to make space above it because there's a lot of songs I like. Gaia by Justyna Steczkowska in my 4 points position. Ukraine, Zifferblatt, Bird of Prey gets the 5. I love this kind of thing. It's quite, down my route.
It's very you.
Number 6, Klavdia, Asteromata. The staging worry will continue to exist until May, and then maybe it'll go up my ranking. But for now, just because we need to see something more. Mm-hmm. In 4th place, I'm actually going to make a quick change. There we go. In 4th place, we have Mariana Conte, Cunt. We're now into the section of I love these songs. I think it's really great. I think it's really, really great. That's all I have to say about Mariana Conte. And she's a great singer. That Diva Down video after she had her car crash last week was hilarious.
Incredible.
Honestly, she understands the fandom perfectly without even knowing it. And it's now 6th in the odds. It's great. 3rd place, Albania, Zierm, Shkodra, Electronica. It looks better. Every song that comes out, Albania looks better. Mm-hmm. And I genuinely think we're on for a top 10 now. I think it's genuinely, and it keeps moving up the odds. It'll continue to do that. I'm super excited. Into my top 2. Practically a tie for number 1. But Finland is still first, which leaves Lithuania and Katarsis in 2nd. 2 incredible songs. In my opinion, easily the best songs of the edition at the moment. Albania is the only thing that comes close. And I still think Erika Vikman is on to win Eurovision. Do you have any thoughts about that ranking? You made a couple of funny faces.
Okay, so the first one that stood out to me was Montenegro being your 10th place. It's not for me. I mean, okay, if you know me, you know my style of music. A ballad like that isn't my thing. You'd never catch me blasting that.
No.
Let's see what else. Red Sebastian being
14th, 13th, 14th.
14th, I think, is kind of harsh.
It's not that I dislike it.
It's just
not my thing.
Yeah,
I don't want to take anything away from it, and I'm never going to be. We could stream continually from now until May, and I would never say anything disparaging about it because I do think it has a lot of merit to it. It's just not my personal taste. It just doesn't suit me, and that's fine.
Ukraine being 7th, 6th.
6th, yeah.
6th. I mean, the song hasn't clicked for me yet, but that's just me.
I think I talked about the prog thing last week. I just think it feels a little proggy, and that just scratches my brain in the right way.
Latvia being 8th.
Too low or too high?
Too high.
They're going to hate you for that.
It's okay.
Chat's going to hate you for that. For
Guys,
not liking Latvia.
I'm sorry. I hate you, hey. No, but it still hasn't clicked for me yet. It might happen soon. I'm kind of giving up, but anyways. And Slovenia last, yes.
Yeah, I think everyone kind of universally agrees on that. That's, I think getting cut adrift quite early on. Well, with the cancellation of Jay, I think that's a good place to wrap up. It is also just coming up to midnight here in Estonia. Yeah, lots to talk about next week. We're going to talk about, because a lot of people are asking about Poland, I wanted to cover it in more detail. We're going to do that. We'll talk about Italy in more depth next week as well. Iceland is happening next weekend, so we'll talk about that. And yeah, there'll be and also Chefsache ESC. We'll probably, we will have had a semi-final by then, so it'll be better. Euro Towerly, thank you so much for the 10 euros.
Oh, wow,
Will we get
thank
any
you.
absolute stinkers this year? Yes, we have one, Slovenia. And also Armenia, in my opinion. We will probably get more. We're due at least one or two more. The guy who keeps tagging me to tell me about Jan Bors, I saw your message, okay? You don't need to keep repeating the same thing over and over again. With that, Jay, just to close, say goodbye, but also just reflect on how you found the last couple of weeks in terms of where we've been, the experiences we've had at those national finals, and also try to reflect just how exhausting it's been.
Okay, well, it's been 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
The past 2 weeks, they've been exhausting, yes, but also very fun. If you have a chance to go to a national final, go to it. You'll have the time of your life. 5 years ago, if you told me that I'd be going to Eesti Laul, I'd be like, what? But we had the chance to do it, and it's really fun. But yeah, the past 2 weeks have been incredible. A lot of work, but incredible.
Not helped by the amount of illness. I think that's been the main thing is there's been a lot of treading water for us. We've had to put in a lot of hours. Jay has had to pull some late nights editing as well, just because we've had so much to do. I'm really, really grateful we get to do this, and I'm even more grateful that the support from you guys makes this stuff possible, because we wouldn't have been able to do this last year. Even just doing one last year, just doing UMK was a very financially difficult thing for us to do. We hit the limits already. Whereas this year, if we could get more time off from work, we would probably be able to do another one.
Yeah.
And we'd probably be going to Portugal or something. We can't do that, sadly. We'll go next year. But yeah, thanks so much to everyone. We'll be back in our regular locations next week.
Unfortunately.
Jay, any final words? It sounds like I'm about to take you out the back and shoot. Any goodbyes for now?
Thank you for everything. Now it sounds like I'm saying goodbye forever. No. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the comments, and very happy.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Same from me, really. I will say now, we're at the end of the stream. The Ireland video, is going to be coming out tomorrow at 7 p.m. UK time. We have watched most of it through now, and we're broadly very happy with it. So we're going to bring that out tomorrow, 7 p.m. UK time. So make sure you guys are there for that. I want to see you all in that premiere. I know Monday night is unusual, but then we'll get back into our regular schedule again. As for now, we'll be back same time next Sunday. We'll have the video from Estonia coming out probably on Saturday rather than Friday this week, just so we have time to get it all done. And yeah, thank you so much for the support. For now, we will wave and we'll say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Keep waving, I haven't pressed the button.